What TraceGains is able to accomplish through its positively assured traceability is to give you that vision, that knowledge about everything from its inception all the way through the entire process. So that with that vision, then you can attribute costs and attribute value and quality and be able to drive out all the bad things associated with the supply chain and keep all the good things associated with it. If you're just counting widgets, you're missing the point. Well, now the GS1 people are going to expand that particular code to be able to say that now not only do you have ownership of a product and list what that product is, but then to be able to say that this has a pick date or a pack date of the product when it was manufactured, and then also a lot code associated with that so that you can bring that down to exactly who did what, when they did it, and when it was shipped. So you're able to look at exactly what happens, and consequently, your company has to say that, yes, this is mine, and yes, this is going to move forward in the process. So we're able to do tracing associated with GS1. The GS1 system allows you to digitize everything right off the bat. And so you're able to scan the product and say that, yes, this is my identifier, this automatically goes into the computer, so you're able to start the traceability process from the inception of the product. And that's the value. GS1 will allow you to reduce that cone of traceability from the ability to say that I need to recall everything down to what you really need to recall, and that is by reducing then the risk associated with what you're manufacturing. You're able to use TraceGains to be able to say that, all right, here is my risk, here's what I need to do in order to mitigate it, and then with that knowledge and the dashboards and everything that we provide will allow you to then draw your potential risk down to where it's manageable rather than something that costs you your entire business. The FDA, when they come and inspect a facility, knows an awful lot about what you do and how you do it as a company. And in one recent incident, the FDA spent 90 days at this facility, and they don't come with a song in their heart and a smile on their face. They are very serious, and they're trying to serve the public the best they can. But they had subpoenas for the hierarchy of the company. They were going to fine them all. They were going to be able to put them all into jail. And that's just not the type of risk that you want to assume as a company. It can make it to where you end up out of business, and that's not where you want to go. It depends on where the bad transaction happened. And at that bad transaction, if it was at the manufacturing level, then that manufacturer is probably in a suspect. If it happened to an ingredient that happened earlier, then they just become a part of the problem. Then they'll go back, the FDA will go back to the initial ingredient manufacturer and do the same thing to them that they did to the original group. Find out what happened, and if you're culpable, you're in jail. But a lot of chairmen, a lot of CFOs, a lot of CIOs all assume that, well, you know, gosh, our systems we're all right, we're taken care of. And the reality is that if you aren't watching your P's and Q's, you haven't digitized all your information, if everything is stored in a box, in a shoebox, and the FDA comes along and they don't find all the information that they're looking for, you know, it turns into a long, drawn-out process that's very expensive, and the consumer is watching. Traceability is not the end-all, be-all of the process. What TraceGains offers is the ability to look at different aspects of your business and to let you identify the things that may be adding more money and more cost to the business itself. And the idea would be to use TraceGains as another profit center and be able to look at your supply chain and understand that exactly what you're doing is the least cost all the way through. They call that today the carbon footprint. So we want to make sure that everything's as fresh as possible for everybody along the line. So the consumer ultimately gets the best product they can get with the least amount of time associated with the holding process as it's being transported and manufactured. And all this in the way of dashboards allows you to look at just the problems. If you've got a great set of suppliers, everything's going exactly like it's supposed to, the transporters are doing their jobs, you know that that's going on. And you can feel assured that everything that you're doing then within your business is appropriate.